the war over Iran has entered a new phase, and it's a phase that Tehran never expected. After the first wave of stealth attacks by America's most advanced bombers, a very different aircraft has now arrived in the skies over Iran, and surprisingly, it's not a new weapon at all. It's the legendary B-52 Stratofortress, a bomber that first flew more than 70 years ago. Yet, despite its age, this aircraft has become one of the most devastating tools in the current conflict. Earlier in the war, the United States relied heavily on the stealth capabilities of the B-2 Spirit. These bombers, supported by American and Israeli fighter jets, carried out precise strikes to destroy Iran's air defenses, radar systems, and key military infrastructure. Those initial attacks were highly coordinated. Cyber operations jammed Iranian radar networks, communications were disrupted, and then hundreds of precision strikes followed. Within the first 24 hours alone, more than 1,000 targets across Iran were hit. But those surgical attacks were only the beginning. Once Iran's air defenses were weakened, the United States introduced a different strategy: overwhelming force. That's where the B-52 Stratofortress comes in. Unlike the stealthy B-2, the B-52 is not designed to sneak past enemy radar. Instead, it is built to deliver enormous firepower once air superiority has already been achieved. And the numbers explain why. A single B-52 can carry around 70,000 pounds of weapons. That includes large numbers of precision-guided bombs and long-range missiles capable of striking targets hundreds of miles away. Many of those weapons are AGM-158 JASSM cruise missiles, which allow the bomber to launch attacks from a safe distance while staying far outside the range of most remaining Iranian air defenses. Right now, these bombers are focusing on one of the most critical parts of Iran's military structure: command and control networks. These systems coordinate missile launches, air defenses, and troop movements. Once those command nodes are destroyed, military units become isolated and unable to communicate effectively. In other words, Iran's military begins to lose the ability to fight as a coordinated force. According to the United States Central Command, this strategy is already having a major impact. Iran's ballistic missile launches have dropped dramatically since the first days of the war, and drone attacks have fallen sharply as well. That's a significant development because Iran's ballistic missile arsenal has long been considered its most powerful weapon. But there's another reason the United States is deploying B-52 bombers, and it may be the most important one: a cost. While the B-2 Spirit is one of the most advanced bombers ever built, it's also extremely expensive to operate. Each hour in the air can cost roughly $200,000. The B-52, by comparison, costs roughly $70,000 per hour to fly. In a conflict that could last weeks or even longer, that difference matters. The United States can sustain a long bombing campaign using B-52s while reserving the more expensive stealth bombers for specialized missions. In other words, the B-52 allows the U.S. to maintain relentless pressure on Iran while controlling the financial cost of the war, and that strategy sends a clear signal. The arrival of these bombers suggests that Washington is preparing for a longer conflict, not a quick strike. At the same time, Iran's air defense network appears to be struggling. Much of the system is built from older Russian and Chinese designs, including variants based on the S-300, as well as locally produced copies that analysts say were never fully tested in modern combat. After days of heavy strikes, those defenses are now severely weakened. It doesn't mean the skies are completely safe, but it does mean American aircraft can operate with far greater freedom than before. And that freedom allows the B-52 fleet to do exactly what it was designed for: sustained bombardment. So the conflict is now entering a new phase. First came the precision strikes that dismantled Iran's defenses, and then came the heavy bombardment from long-range bombers. What comes next remains uncertain. But one thing is clear: with the B-52 now flying missions over Iran, the United States is signaling that this campaign is far from over, and the pressure on Tehran is only beginning to intensify.